So Fieke, I'm so happy that I can be here. It's awesome. I know you already for a couple of years. You inspired me. You are critical. You are very knowledgeable. Your processor inside is so unbelievable fast. What is, I think, great. You are phenomenon in Lego Serious Play. In our community in the Netherlands, we all know you. And that's why I'm so proud that I can be here today. And I'm really curious, before we start and dive into the deep end, can you tell a little bit about yourself and where you're from? And then maybe go straight away into where are we actually? Because we are in a space that we cannot show everything because this is a customer experience center. But can you take us a little bit who you are and where we are?
Yes. What a introduction, wow. Thanks for the invitation, first of all. I'm Fieke, I'm 38 years old. I live in Nijmegen, that's a small town in the Netherlands. And right now we are sitting in the full experience room of our company.
Yeah.
I work for Proud Experts, it's a business outsourcing company. So we take over financial processes from the bigger banks, insurance companies and pension funds in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So we function as a department for them when they can't handle the work themselves. And as part of outsourcing processes, we always look into processes like how they are right now in order to actually optimize them a little bit before we take them over. So that's the basics about the company that we're right now. But we're sitting in a full experience room, and that's a very special place within our office. It's a little bit in the corner, but if you enter, you kind of enter a different world. It's not like a typical room for an insurance, for a financial institution. You experienced that already. And it's a room that we built in order to organize creative sessions to gather information about the main challenges and of course the innovation ideas or the possibilities to optimize processes for our customers. So the room is creative.
Yeah.
It has a lot of funny items. I'm not going to show you because we want this to be
It's a shame you cannot see it, I can tell you that.
But you're all invited to just come to the office once, of course. But the thought behind it is that if you want to outsource a process, you don't want to outsource a process that has like hiccups or whatever. So we're an external partner and we are always asked to look at optimizations possibilities. And we do that considering our full experience proposition. So I'm responsible for the full experience proposition as a business consultant. And that proposition exists of 4 parts. And of course I'll build them in Lego.
Oh, great.
To explain to you.
Yeah.
As it's supposed to be as a facilitator. I'm not sure if it's quite visible. But when customers enter our room, we always start to talk about the strategy of their company first. So what do you want to reach with your proposition or with your services? What is your DNA? What are the most important values within your company? Because if you are analyzing a customer journey, you want to know what kind of values you want to experience during the customer journey. So the strategy of a company is very important. And part of the strategy is also the persona. So who is your client? And we make that very, very, very concrete as a Lego minifigure. So we always look at a strategy and a persona first. This is the building block strategy. Then we go to our second building block, and that's the customer journey, which is the orange road over here, and then the customer who is waving his flag because he's going on a journey. So during the customer journey, I do some research about current processes in order to get a grip of how does the service work right now, right? The third building block of the full experience proposition is the processes. So that's everything a coworker has to do in order to support the customer journey. Think about work instructions, activities, but also software applications, anything you can encounter during like your process design. So that's the third thing that we actually analyze. And then the fourth very important building block are the insights. Because we know a lot about customer journeys, and if we talk to coworkers, we gather a lot of data. But in the end, you want to make decisions that are fact-based. So I also collect a lot of data from Power BI reports and stuff like that. That is the 4 building blocks. So the full experience exists of the strategy, the customer journey, the processes, and insights. And when we analyze all these 4 building blocks together, we always ask ourselves, what can we do to actually reach the full experience? Because that is the end goal. And that's what I do and why this whole room is decorated in order to gather those insights.
For great explanation, and at the same time I'm thinking, wow, this is the same as in all agile methodologies, right? The one thing that we want is come and create that value for the customer, and that's what you find a way, and you guys call it customer journey, and that's super important. And I think this is for every Scrum team and actually every Agile team, super important to know what does your stakeholder or your customer at the end wants. So what the tool that you created is super important for us to know.
Definitely, and what I really like is that the way to gather this input is so different for people. Like you have a lot of brainstorm sessions to think about optimizing processes or developing strategies, you name it. And most of the time you see that people that are quite verbally strong, they kind of decide what's going to happen in this brainstorm. Because there's a lot of people around the table that have great ideas, but they don't feel comfortable speaking up, maybe because their manager is there, maybe because they don't know how to actually put in words what they're thinking. And the thing with LEGO Series Play is that the materials are so new. Maybe you've played with it when you were young, you know, but for people to actually use Lego to express themselves, it's very new. I didn't do that before. Before I knew LEGO Series Play, I never used Lego to actually explain myself. So it's very new, and that leads to kind of a common sense that's new for everybody. So everybody is kind of equal within the group because everybody's looking at it like, how does this even work? And at the same time, using this material makes your brain so much more creative because you actually have to think in a specific way to express yourself. And by using the different colors and different bricks, you kind of get inspired to think more about solutions and innovative ideas, and I don't know, it just works like that. I think it kind of gets into the flow, and I haven't experienced that with other techniques that are
sometimes used. Sticky notes are good enough.
Yeah, sometimes.
But sometimes you have problems, you maybe want to do a little bit extra than just a sticky note.
Yeah, and definitely when you're having a group, like when we invite clients to look at their customer journey, I do a bit of research to actually show them the customer journey as it is, and then we start thinking about challenges and solutions. And most of the time the group of people that I invite are like a representative group of the whole company. So we have people that are they do the customer service calls, but we also have managers, we have IT guys, and they're all suddenly put together in one group. Maybe they talk to each other in the company when they're getting coffee, but they don't work with each other every single day. So they don't really know each other, and they don't know how they work individually. So it's quite, it might be difficult for them to just sit on a table and then suddenly start talking about problems they face within the work, or so it's quite scary for people. And then when you use a method like this, you see that everybody is a bit uncomfortable maybe in the beginning, and that makes them feel comfortable within a couple of minutes. So I really like that. And
it gives the platform that everybody can speak, right? And everybody needs to speak. But one burning question I have when you started this and you said something like, oh, then we take our customers here, and you make it look so easy, and I can imagine that some facilitators in LEGO Series Play find it maybe hard to convince their clients. How do your clients react to, we're going to play Lego all day?
Oh, that's very different. That's very different. Like if we do a customer journey workshop, we ask them to be here for a day. So when I invite managers, there are some people that actually look at me or just reply by mail, like, do I really have to clean my schedule to go to your city and then spend a full day playing with Lego, like seriously,
how do they react?
Is that even worth it?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but the more traditional minded people, they're quite skeptical. Especially when they enter the room, because we're sitting in the experience room, so the whole room is designed with creative items, and then they see all the Lego and they're like, what am I doing here? So they're quite skeptical, but I like those people the most, because those people most of the time are the ones that at the end of the day are telling me like, I've never thought that it would be so efficient, but also so much fun. Like I'm gonna tell my son at home that I've been playing with Lego the whole day. I'm gonna make him jealous. So they do need to have that little bit of experience. Like we have different exercises. So we start small and then we build it up during the day. And they need the first 2 or 3 exercises to actually get comfortable with the method, but also to see and to experience, because that's the most important part in my opinion, to experience what the method does to you and to the group dynamic. So you have to, we have to convince them by actually let them do 1 or 2 of those experiences. So what happens a lot is, when the customers come to our office and we have the first commercial appointment, we don't start a workshop right ahead.
No.
But I always join one of those first appointments and then give them 1 or 2 exercises from LEGO Serious Play Methods, just to get them a little bit of a hint, like how can it actually work? And then they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is not as weird as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And by experiencing that, I get them convinced to actually come to us for a workshop.
And not by giving away which exercise you do, but as a facilitator, what kind of exercise do I have to think on? Is it like on the level of skills building, or is it more like a reconnect, or?
Yeah, the first exercises that I do with the customers, especially the ones that are not convinced about the method yet, are the skills building exercises. Yeah. So I won't go into detail because it has to be.
But all our facilitators know now exactly what you mean.
They know know the ones. Yeah, of course. So I use those to actually get them a little bit enthusiastic about the method. When we do the full workshop, we always start with building individual models so that people can express their opinions. And then at the end of the day, we always take a lot of time to actually form like a shared model, so that they all have a kind of a uniform vision on the challenges, but most of all the opportunities within the customer journey, the things that they can actually act on the next day or in the future. Yeah. So the shared model is a very important technique that we use.
Yeah, it's a very nice one that makes everything collective and
especially
also consensus apparently.
Yeah, especially if you have a lot of people with different responsibilities at the table, that's very important. Yeah.
So clients, and one super interesting thing you said in the beginning is like clients say, oh, I didn't thought this would be this effective and fun.
Yeah.
And it's not the other way around. What is an interesting notice to have. Yeah. They find it super effective and fun. They play all day and then they come together and build a shared model at the end, so they have like this common understanding. Yeah. Do you see then something afterwards, or do you hear sometimes, because you have a long-term relationship with clients, they come here and that's a small step in the whole customer journey of your clients. Do you hear then sometimes something back of how they find that session, or is there a longer term, or is it just that day?
Yeah, it depends. Like if it's a very if it is just one workshop and then in the end they don't decide to actually outsource work to us, then it kind of vanishes. So then I do hear like in the weeks after, like, oh, we had so much fun. And sometimes they even call me and they say like, oh, we have a totally different challenge within the company, but I think this technique would serve so much. So can you please come to us? And then I'm not focused on customer journeys or whatever, but more on team building, for example.
Then you do a LEGO Serious Play workshop like you were taught.
Yeah, yeah. And I've one time I was invited to actually be part of the program for a team day. So that was way fun, and it was just a skills building exercises. But they were so enthusiastic. They were like, "This is just what we need. Can you please come to our team day?" And like, of course, no problem. So that happens. But most of the time, the result of one of those workshops is in the end is a list of all the opportunities that are there in optimizing either the customer journey or the processes or work instructions or whatever you can name it. So they do go home with kind of a list with actions that they can actually execute to optimize the customer journey. And because we outsource or we execute their outsourced work, we get to implement the innovative ideas. So we can actually, my people are sitting upstairs doing the work. So I can enter the room whenever I like and ask them like, hey, how did it work? Did it have any effect? So it's very close to my office, like I can always check. And that's part of my business as well. Like we do the workshop, we kind of identify the things that we have to do in order to enhance the customer journey. Then we go implement it, either just within our department, and then we see what the difference is with the traditional way of working at the bank or insurance company itself. So we can do like an A/B testing, or we implement it within the full organization. And then I'm also responsible for the data analytics.
Okay.
So I always start with analyzing the customer journey, and then within every step of the customer journey I gather data about customer satisfaction, efficiency, average handling times, stuff like that, as it is. Then we implement one of the ideas that we identified in the Lego Series Play workshop. And then after a couple of weeks or after a couple of months, I check the data again to see what the impact was of the initiative. So it's part of my ongoing business.
And I can imagine then almost that you could get the client back and say, hey, this is what we tried with the Lego model, and then ask yourself, is this still the correct way, or what alternations?
Definitely. As an outsourcing partner, we have to do the job minimally as good as the company itself, otherwise we're not of any value. But it's also our role to be critical about how the work is done, because we are an external party, so they expect us to come to them with ideas for innovation, ideas for making anything better. The data, the grades, whatever you can think of. It's our role, because otherwise they would outsource it to another partner, right? So that's our added value, to be critical and to look at the processes again and again and again. So we do that at least every single year.
Wow.
Even if we're working for a client over like a long period of time, we have clients that we work for at least for 10 years, then every single year we're going to check like, okay, how is the process going right now? What are the customers thinking of your service right now? What are their co-workers thinking about their jobs right now? Let's put it all together, let's map it on this customer journey, and then let's see where the challenges are and when there's any suggestion for improving it. And we do that with the Lego Series Play.
And I hear this as well from other facilitators, that they asked back in teams again and again and again. It's a very interesting, as a business model, very engaging. I remember you as well when we first time met, that others would say, I didn't have that feeling, but others would say that you could be critical. And I'm wondering, from one side I hear Lego is really fun and it's really efficient, but I can imagine in your hands it's also a very good mirror for people to be critical to themselves, and also being very transparent of what's happening, right? How powerful is the tool Lego Series Play in your hands in that point of view?
I think I have a psychological background, so for me it's very hard to not have like a second or third thought about what the people have built, how they've built it, and to see what happens when you put like the materials in their hands. And it happens to me and to me myself also. Like if I get stuck in my head sometimes and I have to write something creative, I can also just enter the room and start building just to get myself out of this writer's block, you know.
Yeah.
So it does have a psychological effect on you.
Yeah.
So it is powerful.
Yeah.
But that's not the main goal of the
No.
material, right?
But I say also it's so much more than just stacking bricks on top of each other.
That's the thing, and one of the best compliments that we get after organizing a workshop is not that it's been very efficient and valuable, but most of the time the people say like, it felt like I had like a team day today, you know, like it was not meant like that, but
Yeah.
it really feels like that, and I'm like, that's a good thing, because that's the fun part that they experience.
Exactly.
But also the kind of relationship that deepens by doing this together, but everybody first individually and then coming to like this shared vision.
It's like a side effect.
It's
The
a side effect.
team is functioning better afterwards. It's more a side effect than.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe
me too.
so. Yeah, definitely.
One other thing is that I'm really so we cannot show everything, and that's okay, because Fieke built this super experience, and I was in the old building as well. You guys moved, and there's a new experience built, I would say. So, but not everybody has the luxury to create a room, and believe me, when we came in, our colors were branding. We had the feeling we came straight away into our office almost, and that was really nice. And not everybody has their own building, but what would you say to LEGO Series Play Facilitators of the importance to create that room into your room or into the experience? Are there pointers that they can take with them to think,
Yeah, I think for a workshop everybody has to feel at least a bit of comfortable, at least a bit of home. So when I designed this room, I was thinking like, okay, what are the things that I really like, that gives me a warm, cozy feeling, but is still business, still a little bit of a business look, because you can't create like your own home in an office. So it has to feel warm and welcome, and I can't put like the logos of our customers everywhere for every single workshop, but for example we have one of the items in the room that's not visible right now is using a LED light. So what I do is that when I see a customer appointment scheduled, I just look up their website and look at the colors that they use, like the brand colors, and then I change the LED light into the color of the company that's coming. And most of the time when they come in, they don't even notice that it's specifically their color, but somewhere during the day I will tell them like, okay, this part is not blue by coincidence.
Yeah.
It's because of the company that I'm working with right now, and it's because of you guys. And you're like, oh yeah, now you're telling me, I didn't notice, because I'm used to this every day. Our whole office is this color. Yeah. And those are like the little bit of touches that you can actually give in the experience to make people feel welcome and feel home. And for me, it's just a little bit of, it doesn't cost me any of time, a little bit of effort, but the impact is, it's very valuable. So. Yeah.
And I agree, and I remember at that time we spoke about this, and I noticed that also when I'm just in I don't know, a Hilton or an NH hotel or whichever one, that I also try to make that room a little bit more mine.
Yeah.
So I have a few small items I always bring with me, so I created that a different atmosphere than just the standard room. And I think that's being here and being in that experience. For me, it's not the first time, but I've been a few times here. That is something everybody can actually pick up. They don't need to build the whole room themselves.
No.
Of course, it would be better, but it helps already to think about that.
Exactly.
The same as you would think about the question of what you're going to ask the team, right?
Exactly. It's about the small details. Whenever I have a customer appointment, client appointment, I always just look at their website to see what their brand value is, what are the core DNA values, just to get a little bit of insight into what kind of company is coming in, you know, and you can actually use that in order to make it a little bit more personal, and that's very important. And it doesn't have to be like
you don't have
your
to bring
face.
a record player with you.
You don't have to bring a record, and I don't change like the music every single time. But yeah, it's nice if people actually see like, okay, somebody really put some effort in getting to know me before I even arrived, you know, and that's. I'm responsible for the full experience proposition. That's how we call the whole customer journey, analytics, and everything that comes with that. And if you're responsible for full experience, for selling the full experience, you have to give people the full experience. And that starts from the very first moment that you get into touch with them. So it's in the Outlook invitation, you know, there's already a little image of a Lego minifigure in the Outlook invitation. Not a big thing, but just to get them a little bit enthusiastic, a little bit curious, and it's all, in all those little steps.
And every facilitator can do their own, and it should do their own.
It's also personal, you know. Like if one of my colleagues is organizing a workshop, she will also do these little things, but she does it in her way, you know, because it is personal. What from my full experience might be different than yours.
I hope so. Yeah,
I hope so.
Because we're two different people.
Yeah, so you have to put a little bit of your own personality in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be something that is really important for a starting facilitator to know? So I'm gonna do the course and then I'm starting. What is something you have a couple of years experience now, you I would say funneled it to exactly this is the part I do. I don't do workshops everywhere around, but this is what I do, the customer journey, all impact. What is a tip you could give young facilitators?
That's a good question. I like the questions. I have to think about it. I think it's a bit close to what I just said, that in my opinion, when you're facilitating, you get trained, you know, so you know what kind of exercises you're going to do with the group, you know the order of the exercises, probably you thought about the kind of questions you're going to ask the group, and it might feel that everything is in hand because it's quite structured. On the other hand, you are going to deal with people that are not as enthusiastic as you think. You are going to deal with people that are going to talk a lot instead of using Lego, and you are going to experience that the questions that you've prepared might not fit the actual input that's on the table after doing 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So what I think is the most important thing is that you constantly try to check what is the atmosphere in the group. Am I still on track with them? Are they still enthusiastic? Are they concentrated? And if you feel that at any point it's not like that, for me that's the moment to go freewheeling. And I don't mean freewheeling like getting rid of all the Lego or whatever, but sometimes you can feel people kind of drifting off.
Yeah. You
can feel it in their energy, and it might be scary because as a young facilitator you might think like, what am I doing wrong, you know?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, those are the moments that I kind of trust my intuition and think like, okay, maybe we should do a break. Maybe we should just do 5 minutes of just talking to let them get rid of the Lego for 5 minutes, just to get into another modus or whatever. But freewheeling in those moments is quite important to actually get everybody back on track again. It's a little bit of trusting the process. That's what I say, within the Lego Series Play, trust the process, and that works for 99%. But trusting the process sometimes is also just let a little bit loose the process and then get back to it again. Yeah. Just to get people back on track.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's like we did the vlog with Jaka, and he talked all about the flow, and he said also sometimes you maybe just take a break a little bit earlier or whatever, see where the flow of the people is, and that's what you describe as well. It's okay that you're sometimes a little bit out of flow. Make a conscious decision, how do you get them back into flow?
And I think that's one of the most important responsibilities as a facilitator. So to constantly check with the people that are there, but maybe also with yourself, because sometimes you can feel it within yourself that when you're getting anxious or nervous, it might be a sign of what the people are experiencing.
Yeah.
So just stay in touch with what you're feeling, what you see other people are feeling, and then act on that. I think that's and it's also the little bit of personality that you have to bring as a facilitator, and one of the competences that, in my opinion, is very valuable as a facilitator.
And I remember a couple of years ago you had your colleague all the time with you.
Yeah.
So you had a sparring partner as well, eh?
Mm-hmm.
How important is that for a facilitator to have a sparring partner, that you not all have to get it out of yourself? Apparently you need that too, but how important was that for your journey in learning Lego Serious Play?
For me, we both started as young facilitators. We were each other's buddies, and for me that was actually the best way to get into the whole Lego Serious Play method, because a workshop is a long day. Also the preparations, and then after the workshop, everything that you have to do in order to get the results back to your customer. So working the two of us at the same time for us worked really, really well, especially because we also had a good bond, so that helps. But it's nice because if you experience that moment within yourself that I was just talking about, and you have someone standing next to you, you can just tell them like, okay, you do the next round or whatever. I'll just take a break, and it's way easier to actually get the energy level to get it as high as you need it to get without losing yourself within it. So that worked really well. As well, of course, it takes a while before you have like the final concept on how you're gonna do the Lego workshop with people. So in the beginning, the first couple of months, it was also a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And then it's nice to have somebody next to you and to discuss about, okay, those are the questions that worked really, really well, and those are the things that worked well, but we can optimize it a little bit. So that was very, very valuable, and I learned a lot from her because she just does a little bit different because she has her own personality. So, and she learned from me. So I think in the end we put both of our worlds together, and it led to the final product. So
for us that is a really important choice to work with the whole community.
Yeah.
Also, I did in the beginning a lot of workshops together, and I noticed that I do more and more workshops together again with facilitators because they give me that little other facet of looking at the group.
And you get inspired by each other.
Yeah, and what you said was super interesting is that you also then sometimes can say, can you take this one? Because that gives you the opportunity to then like almost in a meta position look at what's gonna happen. And then and that is really
it's
really
very
helping.
valuable. Yeah, definitely.
So we have only 45 minutes, so I'm sorry for that.
No, it's okay.
But I have
we can talk all day.
I have one burning question, and I know all my viewers have the same burning question, and that is, what do we need to know, otherwise we cannot sleep quietly tonight as facilitator?
What do we need to know? That's a burning question.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
What is your advice before we go to sleep tonight?
Oh, that's a hard question. Are there 45 minutes? God, no, I'm sorry. What do you need to know? Yeah, I think, but I've talked about that earlier, I think LSP is a great method. At any place, with any kind of people, I think it's universal. I think it's very efficient, it's creative, and it's very, very valuable, but in my opinion, the impact depends on you as a facilitator and what you bring in the workshop personally. So I think I would always advise somebody, bring something from your own voice, your own questions, your own introduction or whatever. But I think if you can do that you can make it something from you, I think that's the most important thing in using LSP.
I think that is a wonderful advice for all our Scrum Masters that are watching, all the Agile coaches, even in that work also. What can you bring from yourself inside the team? Because not only makes it authentic, but I think you add so much value by doing that. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed it.